How are you supposed to know what button you need on your crane? What are they even for? In this video, we're gonna show you how in-field certified technicians can help extend the service life of your crane rope and get your crane back up and running.
I'm Tracy Evans with Mazzella, Oklahoma City. Today we're going to pour a socket. This is a socket, a button, quick-reeve socket. It's got several different names in the field. Its main purposes are for quick-reeve on the blocks, changing out, going from 4, 6, 8, 12 parts of line, whatever they're working at that moment. Another benefit to this socket is for line pull. You get 100% line pull with this, whereas a turnback becket, you get about an 80% line pull. The guys in the field and in the crane world have found that these make their life much easier whenever going to different parts of line on their blocks, whether it be 4, 6, 8, 12, what have you. But today we're gonna pour one of these. So there are buttons made for the majority of the mobile cranes. Some of them take a little bit of thought to figure out if there is an aftermarket button for that crane. If not, we do have the capabilities of speccing out that button. We come out and we'll bring you a new receiver for it, but we do have the correct socket for that crane. We ask you what crane this is going on, make, model, serial number, and then we go to the manufacturer's spec for that crane, look up the wire rope size and what it needs for your crane. And we keep all the OEM sockets in stock for those cranes. To install a button, you have to go through a certification class with the rope manufacturer. We pour 3 end fittings on both sides to a cut length. They pull test them, they pass the braking strength, and they send us back a certification. With Mazzella, we take that a bit further, and we recertify every 6 months to stay current on that, on our certification, and everybody stays in practice, so that way we're the safest possible to do. If it was me calling to get a socket done, first thing I would ask is about the certification that we just talked about. I'd want to know, are y'all backed by insurance? Are your guys certified? How often do they certify? It's all information that I'd want to know, as well as, do you have the OEM parts? What's going on my crane? And really, it's a peace of mind. You got guys, family members working underneath this thing. You want to know that the person that's coming out to do this is competent and educated and cares enough to make sure that he's doing the job right, and that the people that come in after him or her or whoever it may be, is they leave there with a peace of mind knowing they did everything perfect. The benefit is, the fast reeve, the time saved there, and then also being able to use 100% of your line pool. That's a major benefit in itself. Under different setups and different jobs, you may unreeve and re-reeve your block several times to accomplish your goal, your overall goal, and it's the time saved there, and then also being able to use the rope efficiently. Most of the time, whenever we're out there replacing these, it's user error. What it can do for the end user is, versus them having to replace a full rope, if the rope is still long enough for them to use from the bad spot to the socket, you can cut it off and put a new socket on and put them back to work. Just really saves them time, energy, and money. When we go to that class, it's a week-long class on how to do this, and then we pour them and they go off for pull testing, and then we recertify, and we do that every 6 months. Practice makes perfect. If it's cold, it takes the WireLock a little bit longer to set up versus today where it's 95 degrees and it's going to kick off in about 6 minutes. So from the time that we finish to the time the crane can be back in service is roughly 4 hours. As far as the mechanics of the button, it is actually the WireLock forms in a cone in there, which is inside the button. And whenever they pull it, that cone sets in there, and that's what's causing it to set and be ready to go. The customers have questions about WireLock. I think typically is because it is such a new process. I think the biggest question is because it's a liquid that dries to a hard resin. From start to finish, you know, the customer calls and states that, hey, we need a socket. You know, we get time, location, crane, make, model. We locate who's going to go do it, and then it's the installer's responsibility to call the customer and introduce themselves, check the weather, make sure that if there's any inclement weather that we have a place inside to go do it, or you know, a canopy, some sort of cover to do it, and we let them know we're on the way. If the rope's damaged at the next to the socket, then you know, we'll have them get out past about 20 feet past where the damage is, and then, you know, depending if it's 250 feet down, do we need a spooling machine with us? Can you put a button anywhere on a rope? Typically, yes, as long as the damage spot is not so far back that they don't have enough rope left on the crane to do the job they need to do. Always make sure that you put the socket on the right way. Once this is opened up, you're past the point of no return. A time we wouldn't do a socket is if we get out there on a location and this rope is visibly pitted, rusted, old. You know, you go to open these up and wires start breaking, and you know it's an all stop right there. You know, hey bud, I don't know that your socket is going to hold for this. And then also if there's damage, if there's core damage, I mean, you can see whenever you go to cut this, that core, if it protrudes or sucks in more than 10 millimeters, then you got to start thinking, why is this sucking in on it? So what I've done in the past is I'll go down 50 feet, seize it all up, and cut it again. If it's still looking at 50 feet, and then at some point, you have to determine, is it good to go? You know, you want it to be a perfectly symmetrical broom. So it has 100% line pull, so it's pulling on everything equally. Now, you can see that each individual strand is clean and free of grease and debris from sitting in the solution for 15 minutes. And now I'm gonna run the socket up to its designated point. So before we pour the socket, we're gonna make sure that the socket tower is level. And now we're ready to pour. Give me a second, let me get it. I'm gonna pour it slow enough to get down in there. Pour it right in the middle so it goes down and spreads out at the bottom. But you wanna pour it fast enough that it don't set up on you while you're trying to do it in this heat. If you see WireLock coming out of the bottom, it means that you got good penetration all the way through to the bottom. Whenever I take this tape off, we should see WireLock all the way around the bottom where it came out. WireLock is a 2-part polyester epoxy that is strong as heck, and Crosby stands behind it. All right, so what you're looking at is we did a scratch test, and that tells us that the WireLock is hardened enough that we can start taking the seasoning off, start taking everything off, and really start your 4-hour timer from right here. You'll notice that you can't see any wires in there, none of the tops of the wires, is because we capped it off over the top of the wires so that it doesn't break off later on the top if you have too much. Well, thank you for coming out and watching us perform the socket. We take a lot of pride in our work here at Mazzella. We want to make sure that whenever you go out on the job, you feel comfortable with our work and that you feel safe and you get to go home to your families. We pride ourselves on safety and training and making sure that we're bringing the best product to you along with the best knowledge to you. We're available 24/7 whenever you need us. We're a phone call away.
Crane ropes are expensive. You want to do what you can to extend the service life of the rope you have. A button is a safe solution that can extend that rope life. At Mazzella, our certified technicians are available 24/7, 7 days a week, so don't hesitate to call us. If you found this video useful, informative, entertaining, or you just feel like being friendly, then hit that like button so we can get this information out to everyone who needs it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video. If you have a question, drop it in the comments so we can get you an answer. My name is Ben. Stay safe out there.